is poppin', everybody? I am Max, the part-time pit master, and you're watching Part Timers Barbecue. As you can see, I got myself a new pit. I actually won this on an Instagram giveaway, and I am super pumped. Anybody who knows me knows I have a huge love for competition barbecue, and eventually want to dip my toes in it. So this is one of my first steps to getting there, is start acquiring some drum smokers. So this is from the Barrel Boss Q, True North. It's a Canadian company. It is awesome. So I burned it in yesterday, got it set up. Didn't get any footage of that film, so I apologize. But I got my coals warming up in the chimney. I got this basket ready to go. As you can see, I'll throw a little clip in. I got it ready last night with some wood chunks. So then we got a brisket portion. So we're gonna be throwing it on here. So let's break into it. So we're gonna fill up our charcoal basket, good sized basket. I already have some from, this is leftover from the burn-in and seasoning. So we got a big cook going on, so we're gonna want to make sure we put a fair bit of charcoal in this basket. I got some wood chunks here. I'm gonna bury a couple of them so we get it throughout the cook. Cherry wood here. A couple oaks here. I'm just gonna bury them. So then as the coals ignite, these chunks will obviously smolder and burn and give us our smoke flavor throughout of the cook. Okay, perfect. So I'm doing this the night before, and obviously because I don't want to deal with this in the morning when I throw the brisket on. Always good to be prepared. All right, so we'll open the lid up. You can have a little peek inside. It's got this little hook here, so you can hang it. I mean, awesome amount of space in this thing. Take that out. We got a heat diffuser right here. And then I'll show you the inside. So there's our charcoal basket. There's our hot coals. So we're gonna let this catch the rest of the coals for a second, start throwing everything back on, and then we'll get the pit coming up to temperature. So get this diffuser in there. We'll get our grate put in. So we got the hot coals in, everything's burning. We got some smoke coming out of the top here. I'm aiming for around 250, 275-ish. So I have, remember this is our first real cook with this, so it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve. I got these vents here cracked just a touch. I got the top one open here. So hopefully we can dial it in. Still gonna be a little bit of playing around, but we're gonna actually let this come up to temp now, and then we'll get back with the brisket. Here's our brisket. Ooh, it looks good. Now, I didn't do any prep video because it was a brisket portion that I just kind of rounded out and got it looking good, kind of competition style. Pit is, we're just over or around 225. So I'm gonna put this on now and see, just monitor and see what's going on. So let's get it on. So if you remember, we poured the coals over on this end. A lot of space here. So actually, I'm gonna put this on this end, thicker side towards the fire. Close this up with my clean hand. Always make sure you push down your lid, because if you don't, you'll get a temperature spike. You don't want that. Okay, so nothing left to do now but wash my hands and keep my eye on it.
We checking the packet here?
Oh, you want to check?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do our first check. My daughter, Baby Q, she wanted to check. We're just past the 1 hour mark, so I figured let's do it. Ooh, looking good. So as you can see, we're on hour 3. We just checked it. I gave a little spray, but I left all that out. I just gave you guys a little glimpse of it. It looks good, crusted up nice. I haven't checked the temperature of the meat yet, but I'll probably do that around hour 4, 4.5 mark, just to be curious. Now it's looking like every competition brisket I've ever seen, so I'm doing that right. As you can see, this thing's been rocking really steady. It comes back up to temp very well. At one point we were hitting around 275. So, you know, with these ones, you only want to make small adjustments. So just a little bit of adjustments on these, and then you wait, come check in a half hour, and you'll notice some changes going on. You don't want to make drastic changes, because then you'll either get a huge spike or you'll drop way too low. So you just do little small increments to try to dial it into what you need. But other than that, this thing's rocking awesome. So we are about the 5.5 hour mark. The last time you seen, I just checked the temperature. It was probably about an hour and a half ago, and we were at like 140. Bark was getting there, but I want the internal temp a little bit higher. Like normally when I cook briskets, when I do them Texas style at home, I'm not looking for internal temp. I'm looking for fat render on the fat cap. But if I am looking internal temp, it's usually about 170, but I'm doing this more of a competition style. It's just the flat, and it's a little bit smaller, so I don't want to drive the internal temp too high. Plus, it's all about the bark. With this, we want a nice bark, so we're gonna go in, check the temperature, look at the bark, and most likely I'll be wrapping it. So let's get into it. It is time to wrap. Bark is looking good. We're about 165 internal. I got some beef broth and Blues Hog original barbecue sauce mixed together. I'm going to use this in the wrap. It's going to help for moisture, but it's also going to add a nice base layer to the au jus when the rest of the fat on the brisket renders out. We're going to wrap it up 2 layers of foil and get it back on the pit. We're at about 2.5 hours wrapped. Brisket flats can be a little finicky, and even though it's small, it can still take the time. So we're probing it. It's feeling nice and tender. What I'm going to do now is leave the wrap open and let this bark tack up and baste it a little bit with the au jus mix. Here it's sitting before the rest, fresh tin foil, rested for about an hour and a half. Here's the final product after resting. Jiggly, juicy, bark is awesome. We're going to take some nice 1/4 inch slices, and it's still hot, might I say. Slices are coming out nice, good smoke ring. If it was a longer piece, it would definitely have bent. Pulls apart, no problem. Let's take a taste. You know, this one turned out awesome. Had to go in for the second. Picture perfect. Thank y'all for joining me.